Welcome back to The Four. I am Steve Price, joined now by News 8 political analysts Laura Fink and Wendy Patrick. All right, get our seatbelts ready because it's going to be a long night. You guys are going to be with us not only right now and through our early shows, but once the polls close, we're going to look at those first numbers and kind of analyze where things go. And I really think those first numbers are going to be very interesting because the turnout just doesn't seem to be there, especially from the Democrats who typically tend to vote by mail early. What are you guys hearing, and why do we think this is happening in this election? Let's start with you, Laura.
Well, I think two things. One, we have a more competitive gubernatorial primary than we've seen in a long time. A lot of people have competitive congressional races, and they may be holding onto their ballot until they feel like they have enough information.
Yes.
That said, it's also a worrisome sign, even if that's true, because we know that turnout for Democrats is important, and especially in these competitive races, for candidates to get their own votes out. So that means that the gubernatorial's close, it could be even closer with turnout being low.
Wendy, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to be close regardless of how many people get out and vote, simply because of the nature and the drama surrounding both the candidates and the race itself. And one of the things that we look at right about now is because it's going to be close, that may be a reason to clutch the ballots. We always talk about pearl clutching. This is ballot clutching. People are unwilling to actually, vote for a particular candidate if they think they're not electable, because then what you're doing is you're influencing the balance of power going into the general. So I think people are going to wait to the very last minute. It's like that one year they were going around to giving out pizza over at the election headquarters because everyone waited till the last minute. We may be in for an evening like that.
And that's kind of scary as well because things can happen on election day. Oh my goodness, I got busy. Oh, I forgot my ballot at home. Then people suddenly aren't voting at all. And the big concern when you were talking to Democrats earlier was, if Democrats don't vote, could two Republicans move to the top? That doesn't seem to be what's going to happen now. It does seem like we're going to have a Republican and a Democrat, or maybe two Democrats. We'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and start talking about the race for governor, and we'll start with the Democratic candidates. I want to show you guys a graphic because I think this really shows, when we go to the video here, this will really show where things stand because we've got two Republicans who seem to be, at the top of the list, and then we've got a whole bunch of Democrats. There we go. I mean, look, you got the two right in the middle there and surrounded by all the blue. That's just an alphabetical order, just happened to work out that way. But I think that really shows you, where things stand and the concern with Democrats. So Eric Swalwell out of the race really helped Xavier Becerra, who we just saw a video of there. Was that a surprise to you, Wendy, that those voters seemed to go to Xavier Becerra?
Yes, because Xavier Becerra, despite his credentials, his qualifications, his experience and expertise, was an unknown. I mean, think about how ironic that is. We're talking about somebody that was a member of Joe Biden's cabinet, President Biden's cabinet, a former state attorney general, had a position in Congress, all of these accolades behind his name, and nobody knew who he was. Now, the other side of that is there also was no drama surrounding him. He was one of those sort of safe bets that you're not going to find any kind of scandal in his closet. I think he was probably just as surprised as everybody else, but you are correct. When Swalwell exited the race, it completely shook up the balance of power, and now you no longer have two Republicans in the lead.
And Laura, Swalwell was a congressperson. Katie Porter, a congressperson. People didn't just move from congressperson to congressperson. What do you think has been the problem for the Katie Porters, the Matt Mahans, the Antonio Villaraigosa's, who just can't move the needle in this election?
I think they all have a little bit different problems. Katie Porter's known, but she has high negatives because of her previous races and the hits that she's endured. Matt Mahan, nobody knows who he is. He's a mayor from San Jose.
Yes.
And so I guess you had to guess. And so that's a challenge. It's 9 million people. And Antonio Villaraigosa, his name's been on the ballot a lot, but he's sort of old school. He is, in an age where the Democrats' two front runners are both aging. Villaraigosa is even older than that. And so they all have their individual battles. But I do think it's also important to be at the right place with the right resume at the right time. And I don't think that Becerra did anything extraordinary. But two things. He was able to capture the Latino vote. He has twice the share of Tom Steyer. He was able to capitalize on that. And his resume is built for Trump slaying, which is if you look at the Democratic electorate, that is what Democratic voters say they want, someone who's going to stand up to Trump. And Xavier Becerra had the resume and the credentials to say, I'm going to do that.
And he's the one that pointed out, I don't need training wheels. I know what I'm doing. I've done it before. I'm ready on day one. Tom Steyer has never won elected office. He doesn't have that experience. And I think two other things sort of shifted the balance of power. President Trump's endorsement of Steve Hilton among Republicans. And secondly, the debate performances. I mean, electability is also about likability. And they were all on full display. First debate was a little boring, no fireworks. Second debate really delivered.
We are out of time. We didn't even get to the Republican candidates. So we're going to, like I said, you guys are going to be on all night with us. So the next time we chat, we're going to talk about Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton and see kind of what happened there with President Trump's endorsement and all the other good stuff. All right, already some great insight. Carlo and Anna, very excited for this evening. It's going to be a long but fun night for sure.
Yeah, that's a great conversation, guys. Thank you. Be sure to download the CBS 8 app and stream our extended primary election coverage today. It starts at 8:15 tonight.
We'll have reporters with candidates as the polls close, plus live results, breaking updates, and analysis. We'll also have the latest developments overnight, tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m.